welcome to the Helix webinar series. So today's session, we're going to focus on self-guided demos. We're going to walk through as a team the ITSM use cases. What you will find is there's quite a lot of guided demos that are in the environment, which our team will show you today. I'm joined by a big panel of team who are going to introduce themselves shortly. But before we get started, just a couple of reminders for those that have joined my product-specific webinars. Down at the bottom of Zoom, you will find the Q&A. And in the Q&A, if you have any questions during the demo and the slides that we're going to go through today, please put your questions in there, and we will have roughly 15 or so minutes at the end that we will take some of those questions to the live Q&A. So let me introduce the team first of all, and John, if you can move to the next slide. So first of all, Damien, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Damien Hunt. I've been an ITSM specialist at BMC now for a long time, 15 years maybe.
Okay, thank you. And then David, over to you.
Yes, David Quinn, ITSM specialist, been with BMC for quite a while as well.
Thank you. Wid?
Yes, I won't break the train there. I am also an ITSM specialist, though dabble in discovery and CMDB, which is mostly ITSM as well. And yes, I've been working with these gentlemen for years and years. David Quinn, I think I met the first 2 weeks I came.
Wonderful, thank you. And then over to you, John.
Yep. Hi, everybody. John Wygand. I am Director of Program Management within BMC. Been here for 20 plus years as well. Experience across a variety of areas of ITSM, including CMDB, SLM, and problem change incidents. So very familiar with the suite.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's get moving to the agenda. So John, if you can move. Okay, so we've got an overview. So we're going to just talk about the self-guided demos, what, how, and when. We're then going to cover some user experience and what you can expect. We're going to go through some use cases and also some current guided demos that you can have a look at. So if you did get the email where we give you the registration, that's particularly for the ITSM. But once you have registered, you've got other environments, and we'll show you that after in the demo. And then they're going to be doing a couple of the team here today. They're going to be going through the actual self-guided demo. So John, I'm going to hand over to you to now go through just the overview and just a little bit more information about the product demos.
Fantastic. Again, welcome everybody. So first we'll just get a little bit of an overview here. What is a self-guided demo? It's actually kind of self-explanatory. These are demos that are guided for you, that you go at your own pace. So you're presented with windows that explain what it is you're seeing and guide you through how to use the demo and explain exactly what the particular use case is that you've selected, right? So this just facilitates you learning about key features of the product, of the BMC product suite, some differentiators, and gives you an opportunity to just really see the power of the BMC suite. So registration, pretty simple. I know a lot of you have already done this, but you go to bmc.com, you register, create an account and everything. And you'll have access for a couple of weeks to the demo. You'll be provided the credentials that you'll need and a link to it. We'll kind of walk through a little bit of that registration process. If you haven't done it, I'll take you through that. And again, like I said, you're going to be presented with guides as you go through the demo, so that you so you can learn and understand exactly the features and things that you're looking at. There's also, we've signed up just for the ITSM, or most of you have. Maybe you didn't sign up for ITSM. We'll talk a little bit about that, but there are a number of use cases, and we'll talk about that shortly. And then you can also, this is a live functioning BMC, ITSM system. And you can actually not go through a guide, and you can go, it's a read-only environment, but you can go through and explore on your own the different dashboards and consoles and different interfaces. So let's talk a little bit about the user experience, what you're going to do if you haven't registered. If you have registered, you've seen this, but if you haven't, let's just talk a little bit about what you're going to do. All right. So go to the bmc.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a link there for free trials and demos. Click that. Okay, and it's going to take you to a page with a number of tiles. And in this case, it's showing, the BMC Helix Operation Management at top, and then there's a number of tiles. But if you scroll down that page, there are a number of different products that you can select to get a demo of. If in the left-hand side, there's the products, you can also open up that and select, from that list there as well. So you have a couple of different options of how to navigate that. Once you've made your selection, so you want to look at the ITSM, you're going to be taken to a registration page, very short form. It's quick and easy to fill out. You also have the option of like if you want to be contacted, right, you can check that box. You have to obviously check the box for the online trial agreement and just click the Start Your Guided Demo. It's that simple to do. You'll get an email very shortly that'll have your credentials, okay, and then a link, this Login Now link that'll take you directly to the guided demo system and where you'll use your credentials to log in. Once you log in, you'll be presented with a menu. It's going to take you to the Helix portal, and this menu will automatically come up. Now, this one here is showing operations management. If you registered for ITSM, then you'll see a different menu system with the list of the use cases that you might want to that you can walk through. Okay. This is, like I said, this is showing Helix Operation Management. There are several of these menus depending on what you've selected. After that, you select the, once you click one of the buttons there, it'll take you into the use case and it'll start walking you through that use case. Okay. During your trial, you'll get some engagement emails that are just basically telling you about some of the features and highlighting some key capabilities. And it also, as you go through this, it'll kind of notify you as you're coming close to the end of your trial. Okay. So we talked about the different use cases. This is a list of the different use cases that we have at this time. So you can see there's several use cases for BHOM, for ITSM, dashboards, discovery, our HR service management, and cloud optimization. So, or cost optimization, sorry. Within what we're going to be focused on are some of the ITSM use cases, and we're going to walk through those with you in just a second. And but this gives you an idea of how much there is out there that you can learn about the BMC product suite. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Damien to take you through the first guided demo.
Thank you, John. Let me just share my screen. Okay. You can see my screen? Everybody
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So before I start with the demo, if you have gone through the registration process for these self-guided demos and you did not specify ITSM as your product of interest, then you will not, when you first log in, see the ITSM use cases. So in this case, I'm logged in as a user that I selected the HR service management use cases. To flip across to be able to change to the ITSM use cases, it's quite simple. All you do is you close the box that has popped up. You hit the blue circle down at the bottom right-hand corner that says Explore Scenarios, and then you choose the Helix IT Service Management menu. And then you'll get the pop-up of the use cases that cover ITSM, okay? So today, in my demo, I'm going to cover a couple of these use cases. They are both BMC Helix ITSM Insights use cases. The first one will be real-time incident correlation, and the second will be proactive problem management. They're both, as I say, ITSM Insights use cases, and they are somewhat related in that they are both about identifying clusters of incidents and being able to do something useful with them. So let's launch into real-time incident correlation first of all. When you click on that button, it takes you straight into the real-time incident correlation dashboard. And here's the pop-up on the right-hand side is the first step of the guide that explains what real-time incident correlation is. Now, have no fear, I'm not going to sit here and read out the contents of each of these boxes. But what you can see on the screen is we are indeed in real-time incident correlation, and you are seeing you are seeing boxes with clusters in them. These are clusters of incidents that real-time incident correlation has grouped together based on their contents. So as incidents come in to the service desk, as they get created, they are added to real-time incident correlation. They are processed by the AI and natural language processing, and then grouped into these clusters. Okay. The guide talks you through exactly how and why and where and when and so on. And you can follow the guide walking through explaining what each of these steps are and what each of the components are. It takes you to look into a cluster that's been named by the system as NYC backup failure. Remember, that's been automatically generated by the backend processes in real-time incident correlation. It has found a group of 16 recent incidents that all have the phrase NYC and backup and failure in it. We can click on that cluster, and the guide continues to tell us exactly what we're looking at here, the list of incidents that are making up that cluster. Real-time incident correlation also gives you the ability to take all of those incidents that are in the cluster and relate them together in ITSM terms to effectively create one as a master and then all the rest as slaves. The guide is now taking you through the process of how you would do that. To simplify things in this case, what we're going to be doing is selecting just the first incident and then looking at the options that are available to mark and manage the original duplicate settings of this incident. So at the moment, this incident is not related to any other incident in ITSM. It's just been put into the cluster by real-time incident correlation, but in ITSM terms, it has no relation at the moment. And when you click on the manage original duplicate, it is giving you the suggested original incident, again using AI. It is looking for an incident that's in this cluster that already has other child incidents related to it, and it's picked one that's the appropriate, that's the best choice for that. So if you wanted, if you had 100 or 200 incidents in this screen, you could select all of them. You notice there's a select all incident. You could select all of them and then use this same functionality to relate all of those incidents together. Correlate them together, right? Hence the phrase real-time incident correlation. And then we can close the cluster details. And then we've reached the end of the tour. Okay, so you can, when you're going through the guide, you can read all the instructions, read the guidance and so on, and follow that process through for yourself. The second guide that I wanted to explain in the self-guided demos is related to real-time instant correlation. Real-time instant correlation is running all the time. As new tickets are being created on the service desk, they're being added to these clusters automatically. And this gives the ability to drive manual connections between all of them, if you wish. But this is kind of running constantly. The second part of ITSM Insights is proactive problem management. And this is all about looking at historical, and by historical, I mean incidents that have already been created, and looking back over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, 2 months, whatever, and using that to look for underlying trends of repeated incidents that use the same language, use the same terminology, and are about the same things, grouping them together and giving you the option to create a problem investigation linked to all of those underlying incidents. So it's about being proactive in looking for problems, based on the set of incidents that are out there. The proactive problem management use case in ITSM Insights has is 2 stages. It is not running all the time. It's up to problem managers to define, build, and create their own definitions of how to look for a problem and have the system generate those for you. So this proactive problem management engagement, proactive problem management guide is actually in 2 steps. The first step of the guide will help you to create a job to run that generates a dashboard, and we've made that as simple as we possibly can within this guide. And then the second part of the guide is actually just looking around that dashboard and seeing what you can do with it. So when you launch in, first of all, again, the guide is explaining how you would normally get here, because you wouldn't normally get here from a self-guided demo. You would normally get here through the ITSM's Smart IT interface, and you choose Workspace's proactive problem management. Okay, it's also giving you additional information about that. So if we follow what the guide says, you go to Manage Jobs, and you'll notice there's a job defined here already, shared by someone else, Liam Shea, but it's never run. You have access to it, but you've never run it yourself. The results from these jobs are visible only to you, the individual user. So you're quite free to build your own jobs as well, if you like. So what we're going to do is follow the prompts, and we're actually going to run this job. Enable run. In the pop-up that appeared, leave the job name as it is. Click the Save button. We see messages from ITSM Insights to say the job has been created and it's running. And now the guide in the self-guided demo is telling you to wait for the job to complete. The job will run automatically shortly. It will take about 5 minutes to run, and you can refresh this. And when you're running through the guide, you can use this this refresh button that the pop-up is pointing to refresh this. And when you do see the successful in the last job status, you can then click next to move on to the second half, where we look at the results of the proactive problem management job run. I am not proposing that we wait here for 5 minutes. So TV chef style, I have an environment where the previous user, another user, has already gotten that far and created the job output and then clicked next. So now we're into the proactive problem management screen. So we're continuing on from the exact same guide without that 5-minute gap in the middle while we ran a proactive problem management job. And it's explaining the heat map that's visible on the screen and what you can see and how the clustering algorithm worked. And if we step on to the next view, it's explaining that you can change the heat map size. You can change it to look from a number of instance point of view to total resolution time in those incidents or total effort spent in those incidents. You can change the coloring, whether it's based on average priority, trend, customer quality. I'm being led through by where the guide is telling me to. And now we can go and investigate a cluster. You'll notice that the clusters are very similar in naming to what we saw with the real-time instant correlation, because at the back end it's using pretty much exactly the same AI and natural language processing technology to group these incidents together. But in this case, it's for the cause of being proactive about problem management. So it's telling us to click on this cluster called Trains App. We can see that this Trains app has had 656 total incidents. So yes, that probably should have a problem associated, should have a problem associated with it, and the guide has stopped. So then what the guide would do is give you the ability to choose an incident and then relate it to an existing problem, but we won't actually get you to do that during the scenario because it is a read-only environment and you have some issues with that, okay? And that's where the tour ends. So that's real-time instant correlation, proactive problem management, step through self-guided. What I would like to do now is hand over to my colleague Wid Spalding, who's going to talk about another self-guided demo in the ITSM space around security incident handling. Okay.
Why, thank you, Damien. I'm just setting up my own share there, and I know you're dying to see me live. So there I am. Let me go ahead and share my screen, which is the more important part. So here we are, and I'll go full screen here. Once again, back at the ITSM menu. And as Damien said before, there's a menu for service monitoring. There's a menu for HR service management. There's one for discovery. There's one for continuous optimization. So make sure that you, once again, when you want, go down, click this button down in the right-hand corner and choose a different menu. So to continue along, I'd like to speak a little bit about numbers 3 and 4 here, which all have to do with security incident handling. And in the beautiful United States, it was announced this week that and this is why I'm talking about these two, someone hacked somewhere and has managed to acquire every single social security number by anybody that has one. So 300 million social security numbers are now out in the wild. And so I thought it would be important to talk about security incident handling, and because it's apropos. Now, our two different incident handling scenarios here is one we have on the left, which is actually much more likely. This works your way through from an end user who clicks on a bad link that someone was phishing them, and then the process on them saying, whoops, I did the wrong thing, and how it's processed through the whole handling scenario for that particular incident. So they self-report and move from here. Over on this side, and we're going to step through this, is a scenario where, and I know it's ironic maybe that CrowdStrike has found an issue, but it is going to be the scenario at the moment. So we log in and we start, and it always starts with a little bit of overview of why this is important. You could then jump out of this particular one by clicking X if you didn't like it. But the point here is security incidents, they're very critical. Obviously, they're more important than I can't start my browser or anything else. So they also require special handling. They require special capabilities, and we have those built into our process to help you along there. Things such as checklists to say, did you do this, this with checkboxes, and also for larger processes, run books and assignment to other people to help solve this particular security incident. And then naturally, all the other information you need in order to understand the context of the incident. Are there other tickets like it? What asset was affected? All those kinds of things. And we'll walk through that as we move along here. So the first thing we start with is you'll say, this doesn't look like a security incident handling console. No, it isn't. It turns out that beautifully, we have one console for all the different lines of business, and this happens to be the console for human resources. So this starts out the engagement to make sure you start in the right place with the right incidents to step through. So it's telling you, go ahead, don't click on here and then go ahead and choose security incident handling. So it does the query and brings back the proper information for security incidents versus human resource issues. From there, it wants to make sure that you have the right list of incidents. So it says, okay, click on the filter box. And the beauty of this filter box is you can filter your incidents by, it's right there, by assignee, by company, by create date, by a million different ways, which makes it very good for those people working the incidents to find what they want. In this particular case, we're going to go ahead and clear our one filter, which is called alt open cases, because the engagement's trying to make sure you start from the proper point. So just bear with it. It says clear that. And then it says, now I want you to go look at the saved queries. So there's 11 saved queries here. You can build more of your own queries to find just what you're interested in seeing. You can share those queries among other people. So let's hit the save queries. And in this particular case, we want to see, as funny as it is, back to all open cases. And then I have to apply the filter, and voila, we're back to where we started. But you understand that that was all to make sure that as someone that has signed up for a self-guided demo, they start with the right incidents to go ahead and step through. In this particular case, we're going to look at this one that was initiated by CrowdStrike and created an incident through the API. Click on there. It's already critical. It has to do with a particular machine. You can see the requester was CrowdStrike because, as I said before, API went and created that. Obviously, these things can come into the system many different ways, through telephone calls, through submittals of requests, through emails, however you have it set up in your particular company. Now here, the first thing is when the incident came in, it matched right away to what's called an incident template. So that helps you in terms of speed and accuracy in filling out all the fields in the incident, where it came from, the category and type it is, the line of business, where it is, so they can help you as a, incident person trying to close things, speed along. Along the right, it says basically you can see all the communication that's happened about this particular incident, as well as activities that have happened, who initiated it, how it got initiated, who updated it. So you can always see the history of the incident. Now, this is where we get into, for a security incident, specific actions. So you can have a security incident checklist built so that people, when they're in a hurry, they're better off being walked through what to do and how to fix something. So set up a malware checklist right here. You check the boxes as you go through so you know where you are, because the pressure's on usually at this point. The other feature, or another feature for security incidents specifically, are you can set up a set of tasks that can be assigned to different people. And you can also go ahead, and that task can be a whole run book of activities. It can be automated. It can be for people. So we'll take a little bit deeper. So you can see it as a task list, which is what we're starting to see here. It goes below, but also the task flow. So exactly what's supposed to happen from the beginning all the way to the end, and you can have a good overview. You can call, as I said, automation at any one of these points along the way as you work through the task. Now, those are the actions you could do, and you can also say, well, what's the proof that this is really a problem? What are the source documents? What's the provenance, as they say, right? So if we click on the evidence tab, it will have captured the server log sent over by CrowdStrike that was the source for this. And there can be all sorts of sources. They can come in through we have intelligent integration that'll allow us to bring in data from many different sources into the security incident line of business to create incidents themselves. Another thing about this is we saw there are related tickets that we could look at. There are the people that are involved we can look at, and we can also look at the related assets. So what's affected by this whole process? You can see the machine, you could see anything else in there. And if I clicked on this, we'd have a quick flyout for all the details of this particular machine that's involved here. And that's a quick summary of how you can walk through that. I encourage you to come back and walk through the other security incident handling exercise or engagement as well. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pass it back to
John.
Samantha.
And John, if you can just pick up the slides again. And then we'll go to Q&A.
Off mute would help.
Mhm.
It's there. Right, let me share.
And just while John's sharing his screen, if anyone does have any questions, I know we've had one or two in the Q&A. If you want to keep putting those in, and we will open up to live Q&A very shortly. So just to really recap, I know when we did a webinar recently, which was the AI Ops one, which I was also involved with a couple of the members here today that were on the team. We've got a self-guided demo recording for AI Ops. So if any of you did miss that, the link is actually in the slides, and I will be sending those out post-event today. And if you do use your 2-week access and you want to use it a bit longer to go and work on some of the other environments, and you can see from this screenshot, there's a few other examples, go and explore around and just email that address. The team that's on here today will be able to give you an extension. The main thing and the main purpose really is for you to get more familiar with our products. And if there are anything further that you want to follow up, you will have a customer success manager or your account manager that can work with you. And then we have this team here that can help you with these demos. So I think it's probably quite a nice segue, John and team, to go through to the Q&A. So I'm going to start unmuting everyone. We do have a couple of questions in the Q&A, and I can see, David, you're answering Mamadou's one, or have just answered that. If you can just recap that question, why I just unmute everyone, and then we'll go to Mario's.
Yes, the question was whether with security incident handling, it appeared that it was in the business workflow console, and that is true. Security incident handling is built on the business workflow platform or solution.
Great, thank you. And Mamadou, if that's answered your question or you have anything further, feel free to come off mute. I've just given you access. Hopefully you should have received that. And why we just continue to unmute, we've got another question from Mario. So Mario was asking, why is security incident management demonstrated in BWF instead of Helix ITSM Smart IT Incident Management? I don't know who would like to answer that from the team.
That's actually the same question, just
Oh,
phrased in a
okay,
different
in
way.
the same one, for a different way. Okay. Okay, so do we have any other questions from any of the other attendees? I think everyone should have access. We have a hand raised at the moment. Let me just see who that is. And if you want to come off mute, Ellie, hello. Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, everyone. So back to the questions that for the business workflow, for security incident business workflow, I think David has answered that there is an integration with ITSM now. So, but the third point is like, is it right now ITSM ticket is not able to send it to business workflow yet? It's only one way from business workflow to ITSM.
I will need to verify that before I can actually honestly give you an answer on that. I believe you're correct in your assumption, but let me double check that and I'll get back to the group.
Okay,
That's okay.
yeah, no problem. Because like I think right now, I checked it. It seems like only business workflow can create a case to ITSM, but I'm not sure like if ITSM can create a case to business workflow. But it would be great if we got the answer.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Okay, do we have anyone else with any questions? I think everyone is unmuted now, or you've got the ability to ask or raise your hand. Team, why we give everyone just the opportunity to think if they've got any questions. Obviously, we speak regularly on these demos, and I've been fortunate to be able to share some of them in some of our webinars. I mean, the main protocol here really is for customers and partners, the benefit is getting to see the products and from the front end interface. Is there any other kind of key takeaways that you would say is beneficial and why it's useful for them to be able to go to the product demos?
Well, this is weird. I mean, the beauty of it is, right, there are the engagements that walk you through, but you can go in and click around and, see the thing that you want to see whether you, and there is, it's 95% read only, but there are some things you can do that you can get in there and understand the products, sort of see it before you want to go any further with your investigation, right? You can actually try it. You can, click on the different capabilities. And with the engagements, it really helps you understand the power of the products themselves. Because, if I was new to, for instance, AI ops, I wouldn't know where to start unless I had a engagement walking me through and showing me all the different features. Or if I was new to continuous optimization, same thing. So if it's not your strongest suit, the engagements are very helpful. And if you know everything about it, well, then you don't necessarily need the engagement. You're going to just go in there and you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, it's excellent point, Whit. And I was going to follow on, Sam, and just say that, yeah, if you have access to, some of the features and functionalities, but maybe not all of it in your installation, this gives you an opportunity to, to see the power of some of the capabilities that you may not, you may not have access to at this time, and seeing that can encourage you to explore more, right? And maybe get some additional functionality, right, in the product. And if, of course, if you don't have if you don't have the BMC ITSM suite to begin with, then this gives you an opportunity to see the extensive power that the application has, the AI capabilities that we're showing, some of the key features. We will be updating the guided demos with new features as they come out. We will have some updates coming actually within the next month or two to the self-guided demos that is going to show some of the, highlight some of the new capabilities that we have. So it's also an evolving platform, so you can come back and see the new things as well.
And I know that all of the environments have the list of the use cases, so those can be seen up front. And as you've pointed out, John, regularly they're getting updated based on what we hear back from customers, partners, and what we're working on currently.